Hello everyone and welcome back to Nara's Tarot. Thank you very much for being here. In today's reading, we are going to take a look at what the next 3 months has in store for you. So we're going to look at themes, career, love, health and wellness, personal growth, all of that good stuff. So without further ado, let us get into the reading. There are 3 piles to choose from. This will be pile 1, 2, and 3. So feel free to pause the video here if you'd like to take some time to connect with the piles. And otherwise, I will see you at your reading. Hello pile 1 and welcome to your next 3 months reading. So we're going to start off with tarot and then we'll grab a bunch of oracle cards. So let's look at what messages Spirit wants to share with you first. We have the High Priestess in reverse and the 3 of Wands also in reverse. So pile 1, I think many of you feel very anxious about some kind of outcome or something that you want to manifest in the next 3 months. And it is not something that you have total control or clarity over in terms of whether or not this thing will come true. So it's creating a lot of just worry. And I feel like that could become the main theme of your next 3 months if you don't catch yourself and be more mindful of the times when you are worrying about something. High Priestess in reverse is saying that there's a part of us that may not fully trust in our own inner knowing. And so we end up worrying about something and spending time being afraid of the worst case scenario. And worrying, about whether or not things will happen, whether or not the ships will come in, whether or not we'll be able to catch, the timing and the opportunity and all that. And we're just trying to preemptively avoid some kind of situation. But Spirit here is saying that this worry, it doesn't have to be the case. So if you find yourself spending a lot of time already right now worrying about something, try to be more mindful of that in the next 3 months so that this doesn't become a theme, or it doesn't have to become something that consumes more energy from you than even necessary. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward tarot message actually. So we're going to grab our oracle cards just to see what other themes are coming through for you when it comes to the next 3 months. Whoa, yeah, just drop the cards. Give me 1 second. All right, and our cards are Metal Monkey, let go of control. Literally, we were just saying that. And then we have here Wood Monkey, choose your battles. Okay, so this could be definitely a time in the next 3 months to just, if there are things that you don't have to be a part of, if there are concerns that people are more so like they are putting on their stress on you, they are adding on challenges to you that you don't have to be responsible over, that you don't need to put in additional bandwidth towards, choose your battles because it's not worth it. I don't feel like this is your thing. Maybe it doesn't even really contribute that much to your overall growth and wellness in life. So let go is the big thing coming through here. I also want to add that you have 2 monkeys in this reading here in this oracle card. So maybe monkeys are an animal that you might want to look out for. You might see monkeys if you live near a forest or some kind of place that has monkeys. Yeah, also if you just see like symbols of monkeys, okay? Underneath the deck, we have water, sheep, wait and listen. So I think you're also like waiting for some news is what I'm picking up with the 3 of Wands in reverse. So give it a bit of time and patience to receiving that news, because all of that anxiety that we're putting into it almost could be a little bit self-sabotagey, when we're constantly worrying about something rather than praying for the best possible outcome. Okay, I just wanted to get a little bit more information for you guys about the major themes happening in the next 3 months. All right, and we have here, we the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. And underneath the deck, we have the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Yeah, especially this make your life a moving prayer. This is calling for you to devote more attention towards what you want rather than fearing what you don't want. Okay, so the prayers need to go in the direction of something more productive. Worrying about something is also like a prayer for bad news, right? We're just hoping for, we end up devoting that energy into hoping for something not to happen, but it's still energy directed towards what we don't want. And we don't want that. So let's put more energy towards what we want. But with this We the Hathors card, the thing I'm picking up here is that many of you are crossing over some kind of like major chapter in your life, almost as though you're birthing something new. So you could be like birthing out a new project or bringing something to life in some sense, creating some kind of new reality for yourself that you really want to have. And the process of birth is not something that can be rushed. And this is the major lesson also that we are experiencing during this time. It's to learn how to work with that divine feminine energy that's very different from the divine masculine, right? Where in terms of masculine energy, you're maybe more so working with things that are already here, and there's a consistency, there's a routine to it. And with the divine feminine, it's birthing those things that aren't here yet. If the divine masculine, for instance, is more of, let's say, watering the trees and the trees that have been around for generations and just collecting the fruits, right, that will always bear fruit, versus the divine feminine is receiving a new plot of land, planting those seeds and bringing something to life from scratch. That's the big difference here. I think for many of you, you're holding yourself and comparing yourself with people who already have a plantation, who already have some kind of a daily routine and a system going on to help them to harvest, versus you, like you're starting out on your farm new and it's from scratch. So you have to give yourself some grace, and you're not operating on the same timeline as these other people are. So the High Priestess, the High Priestess is also very much about that divine feminine energy. And she's really just coming in to say, like, don't worry about the birth, because it is happening. And as the vessel, as the vessel for this thing to come through into your life, it's a huge experience and also lesson in procreating, in co-creating, in knowing that as much as you want this life to come to form, it's also about working with this life, right? Whether this life is an actual life, it's a business, it's a career, it's a relationship. I would even ask you to meditate. This is what I'm getting, but like to speak to your career, speak to your business, speak to the thing that you want to manifest, right? Whatever it is, speak to your future home. Talk to it almost like as though it was more than just like this object to be manifested, but like speak to the energy of it. Like ask it, what does it need? What kind of water does it need to really sprout? What energies really would support it? And maybe then it wouldn't be so confusing or so elusive as to what needs to be done. And then you can actually build like a personal relationship with the energy of what you want to create, as opposed to it just being like some kind of like an inanimate object. You know what I mean? So talk to your manifestations in an energetic sense. That's like, I've never done this before, so I don't know how this works, but that's the message that I'm getting as I'm like picking up this We the Hathors card, because it's almost like mothers talking to their babies. Like it's more physical and visceral, because if you're a mother, you will be pregnant and you can see your baby. So you know it's very natural for mothers to talk to their babies in the womb. But for you, like energetically, you're also birthing a baby. So like this message just came through to like talk to the life that you want to create into being, right? And ask it what it needs. And then it wouldn't be so much of a stranger to you. It actually could feel more connected. Okay. Let's get some messages about the career beginnings or the career themes in the next 3 months. All right. The career theme for you is divine magic. wishes, goals, dreams, and accomplishment. Look, this is so beautiful because like the blessings are meant multifold, right? It's not just like money and finances when it comes to career. There's all of these. It's like all of the chakras are here. You'll get enlightenment, you'll get voice, you'll be recognized, your heart chakra will be open, you'll receive more power, you get a boost in terms of like your self-confidence. Like it's all coming together, and it's not just career. Like your career success is going to like also boost everything in your life, which is amazing. So divine magic is coming in with career. Underneath the deck we have career transition in reverse. Stagnant, boredom, scarcity, and stuck are the keywords. So I would not be surprised if some of you really want to manifest a career transition, and that is something that you feel a little bit stuck with at this point in time. So in the next 3 months, there's going to be support from your angels, from the universe, to help you to create that magic and movement to come out of that stagnancy and actually really move into the career that you want to have, okay? Let's get you some messages about your love life in the next 3 months. All right, we have the Rainbow Reviver. Oh, that is very interesting because you have like literally 2 rainbows showing up. So I definitely feel like you're very divinely blessed in the next 3 months, guys. And you might not believe it, but it's all coming together. Okay, so this card, the Rainbow Reviver, it basically talks about how someone goes from a state of maybe more monotony and boredom, and they don't have much color in their life, to being revived. Basically what this card is saying, just being revived by all of the colors, right? So you get to experience a more full, a life with more vitality. And especially when it comes to love, if you're single, I do feel that many of you become so much more confident with your relationship status. I'm not necessarily picking up that for instance, just because you're single, that in the next 3 months you're going to get attached and you're going to go on a whirlwind romance. It could happen, but the bigger theme that's happening is you just being so at peace and so satisfied and so blissful about everything that you have in life, including your singlehood. You know, and almost like it doesn't even bother you. Like, in fact, you're like, I am so grateful that this is what I have, and like I'm so happy to be single now. I'm so good with being single. Like there's so many benefits to being single. Like for my singles, like you just come to a point where it's total acceptance, and you see like the good in it, in being single as well. Now, that's not to say that you can't be in a relationship. So if that is something that you're working towards and what you want, then this card is also a confirmation of that happening in your life, okay? And for those who are in a relationship, I just see you guys like doubling the love, right? Or maybe even tripling or like quadrupling the love, and you just have so much more fun. There's so much more vitality. You just enjoy each other's company so much more. Some things that have been very stressful in a relationship that has been getting in the way of more just joyful fun, those things are being like resolved, and you can just return to more like childlike innocent quality with your partner, okay? Underneath the deck, wow, more rainbows. Okay, another sign for you guys, if in the next 3 months like you see a rainbow, that's another sign from the universe that you're on the right track. Okay, so the silver waterfall is here. Again, this card is also talking about how you have more space to enjoy your life and enjoy yourself, and the silver waterfall acts like this beautiful boundary between you and the world, and almost like you can retreat to this oasis with your partner, and retreat to this oasis even if you're like single. Just when you're in a relationship, like nothing can bother you and nothing can stop you guys from just enjoying each other. And that's the kind of like spirit that is coming through very strongly for you guys' relationship. All right, let's take a look at some messages for your overall health and wellness in the next 3 months. Okay, we have fairy spotting. It's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact, the opposite is true, believing is seeing. And we also have here wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. Okay, so in terms of your health and wellness, it's very connected to your mindset. It's very connected to how much you can give yourself more self-confidence, more self-belief, to be less questioning and doubtful of your path, and more trusting and believing in the good things that can work out for you, right? And there's a lot of wisdom that comes with it, that comes with believing in oneself. It's different from being delusional, you know. And I think some of you are very concerned about whether or not you're being delusional, and you don't want to like be wasting your time or your energy on things that are just complete fantasies, right? And so the wisdom here is identifying that what I want is possible, and I'm not just feeding a delusion. And how can I know that I'm not feeding a delusion? Maybe I take action. Maybe I actually put work into it, and I get some evidence, some concrete data around whether or not something is growing, right? Rather than just daydreaming about it. And that's when I know that I'm not delusional, I'm not crazy. I'm actually doing real work. And that makes a huge difference. So when you're putting yourself out there, and I'm sure many of you already are, do it and believe in yourself. And that makes a huge difference as opposed to doing it and doubting yourself all the time. Okay. Underneath the deck, we have, manifestation. And it says here, be very honest and clear about what you wish to manifest in your life. Now write it down on paper. Manifestation step 1. So again, like many of you are just in a manifestation season of your life, and I do believe and I do see that you guys are on the right track. It's just you may not actually see any tangible results yet, maybe or maybe things are just in the early stages and it's just anxiety about if it's gonna work. And it is, okay? So trust yourself, choose your battles, put less energy into worrying and more into like, if there's a real problem to be worried about, then solve the problem. If not, don't be worrying about it, okay? And let's get you some final affirmations to close off this reading here. And we have, love this. The love within me is more powerful than doubt or fear. Yeah, period. And underneath the deck, we've got today, I choose hope. Yeah, like I hope is so important for you guys. And this is a really beautiful way to close this reading, because hope is more powerful than worrying, is more powerful than doubting. Hope is that faithful energy that we put into our future. Okay, so Pile 1, this is what I see for your reading. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this reading brought you the clarity that you were seeking, and I look forward to reading for you in future as well. Bye now. Hello Pile 2, and welcome to your reading about your next 3 months. So we're going to start off with tarot, and then we're going to grab a bunch of oracle cards to look at the themes, career, love, health, and wellness situations for you. All right, so let's look at your tarot cards. We first have the Tower. We have the Six of Pentacles, Six of Discs, as well as the Lovers in reverse. All right, Pile 2, starting off with the Tower card, clearly in the next 3 months, there's going to be some major shakeups happening in your life that are mainly going to reveal to you where you have been giving your energy away towards things that don't return the same back to you. And it's going to be so clear where those energy leakages and drains are. Where are those people or situations that are taking more from you rather than giving back to you? And there could be like that kind of like Tower moment happening where either the situation breaks down or you end up deciding to walk away from it entirely because you're realizing that it doesn't serve you. Okay, the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, let me just start there first. I am feeling that this is with that Tower moment happening, what ends up happening afterwards is you reaching an equilibrium, right? Where in the past, maybe you were giving 4 Pentacles and only receiving 2 back. Now with this Tower moment happening, you actually can give 3 pentacles and receive 3 pentacles. It balances things out with this 6 of pentacles here. So you actually return back to a semblance of balance and equilibrium when it comes to your work routines or your relationship commitments, or maybe this is health and wellness as well. It is a lot more manageable. So this is also an assurance to you that this Tower moment is not that it's not something to be worried about, because actually it's returning you back to equilibrium. Okay, because I know some people might freak out a little bit with the Tower, and what I am seeing for you is that, hey, actually it brings you back to some place that's so much more manageable, especially when it comes to your time, your energy, and your resources. Okay, I'm even also hearing for some of you, especially with the 6 of Pentacles, that you end up having more money to work with. You know, like you can actually save your money. It's not just going out all the time. Like it's actually a lot more balanced overall. All right. And then with the Lovers in reverse, what also ends up happening in the next 3 months is you deciding where in your life you want to kind of quote unquote break up with certain situations. And it doesn't have to be an actual relationship breakup, but it's very clear, for instance, if you need a career breakup, or maybe you need to walk away from being so attached to a certain boss or to a certain colleague that has been great, but then at the same time not that helpful to your overall well-being. Or maybe this is walking away from a certain mindset or a value system that has not been serving you. In fact, that it has been affecting your self-esteem or your self-confidence, right? So the Lovers in reverse is all of those shedding and the cord cutting as well, to release us from very unhealthy bonds that have been keeping us stuck more than they have been elevating us. All right, so there's a major lesson that you are experiencing and going through in the next 3 months, and it's going to really illuminate you into where balance needs to be restored in your life. Okay, let's grab you some oracle cards now to look at other situations happening. Okay, we have 2 oxes. The wood ox first, knowledge brings wisdom, and then the fire ox, a beacon of light. Yeah, so you're definitely gonna get a lot more clarity, especially with wisdom and light over here. You're gonna get more clarity about how to proceed with something in a way that doesn't burn you out. Because also the oxes represent a lot of hard work, right? In many Asian cultures, they are hard-working field farm animals, and they represent diligence. They represent that consistent effort. You know, they're hard-working creatures. And what this wood ox and fire ox is coming out, is showing me, is that you can move forward in life through this earthly realm, through these very consistent steps and routines and habits and systems that you've set up. You can move through them without burning yourself to the ground, right? The wood ox shows up, the fire ox shows up to work every day. They plow the fields for the farmers. They're helpful and they're really great natured. And somehow the wisdom coming through is that they can do it, and you can do it in a way that doesn't burn you to the ground. That you can be diligent and helpful and hardworking and good-natured, and you still end up having your needs taken care of at the end of the day. And it's not being exploited, right? That the people don't take your hard work and your dedication for granted. That they can actually see that, holy shit, you are pulling so much weight, and now they know and they can see that, and they want to give back to you. All right, underneath the deck, we've got Water Tiger. A reset is coming, yeah. You are so due for a reset, and this Tower here is that reset for you. To reset the slate, maybe it's also about having some conversations with people that need to hear it from you. Not easy conversations, but conversations that need to be had. To just say hey, I need a raise in order to do this well, or maybe I need a different system, maybe going to work and picking up the kids and cooking dinner, doing all of that is too much. I need some help. Speak up. The reset is coming. Okay, let us get you some other themes happening in the next 3 months as well. And these are just overall themes, all right? All right, we have here the whale and orca leaders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. We've got baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. And then cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Yeah. I think many of you feel very cracked open right now, in the sense that it's a very vulnerable time in your life, I think. You're confronting a lot, you're doing a lot, and as much as there's growth, there's also a lot of revelations about things that you want to do differently, all right? So another major theme for you happening in the next 3 months is taking more action towards new things that you want to try out in your life. And this baby steps here is something that also, again, feels very manageable. Like, we're not saying that you need to like start running a 6-figure, 7-figure business and like build it up in like the next 3 months. Like, no, like if a business is what you want to manifest, then maybe in the next 3 months it's just like, okay, I am able to make a couple $100 from my business and start to build that up consistently. You know, something that is so basic and so simple, and maybe not even that, like maybe just like, okay, I'm gonna post consistently on social media as the first step, and taking the fire down from a situation and just taking the heat down, turning it all the way down, and just doing something that's so manageable. This whale and orca card as well is a callback to that message about speaking up, because I think nobody knows that you're suffering until you tell them that, and sometimes it really just requires us telling people what we think, because we may assume and hope that people can see what we're going through, but sometimes it's just not that noticeable. So speak up, tell people what you're going through, and be open to receiving help. Not everybody will be responding to you in the way that you hope they would, you know, with this lovers in reverse. But give yourself a chance to see who are your real supporters and who are here to more of just take from you rather than give you anything. Okay? Underneath the deck, we have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. So you are very protected by your spirit guides, your ancestors, and spirit itself. So please do not burden yourself over something that you can actually receive help for. Okay? Now let's actually get you some career messages now for the next 3 months. All right, and we have here Michael, and this is the Archangel Michael card in reverse, and it says here fearful, disappointment, guarded, and self-doubting. And underneath the deck we have energy healing, holistic well-being, thriving, and vibrant. I definitely feel again that you guys are so burnt out, and career could be a major factor in why you are so burnt out, especially with this Michael card in reverse. And the Archangel Michael is also coming in to say that like this is not something that you can do sustainably in the long term. Because look at the pile of stuff that they have going on. You know, in the upright position, this is somebody who probably enjoys, right, diving into all of these things that they have. But in reverse, this just feels like it's a bit too much for one person to handle. And we end up getting more resentful about the work than we feel motivated or encouraged by it. So energy healing is calling for you to bring that healing and bring that ease into your work, right? Because if you've ever gone for an energy healing session, what you typically need to do before the session is to like basically, you gotta like put down all of your worldly troubles, right? You gotta put it all aside to just be on the energy healing session and to receive. Right? Like that's the whole point of going to an energy healing session. Like think of it as like even like a massage or like a facial or like a nice pamper day. Like you go there and you don't want to be thinking about all of your concerns and worries and stresses while the massage is happening. Like most of us just want to like be on the massage table and just let it all out. Like just not think for a moment. And this is the healing that needs to happen in your career. You gotta just I think not that you gotta, but like you're almost being pushed to like just put it all aside for like one hot minute and just let yourself loose for a bit, right? Because it's getting a lot. So in the next 3 months, that reset is coming. You're gonna get that space to just integrate and not be so high strung with your career. Okay, now let's get you some messages for love in the next 3 months. Okay, we have luminosity and inner peace. Yeah, the main message here again with which is what we were talking about with the lovers in reverse, is you being so clear about the relationships in your life that are helpful and supportive versus those that aren't. And if there are patterns in your relationships, whether you're single or you're in a relationship right now, if there are certain patterns that have been causing you and the people that you date or your partner to be in like a weird loop of not being there for each other or not really being that good partners to each other, that's definitely being illuminated in the next 3 months. And you're going to understand and be able to work through those patterns so that you both restore a sense of peace into your lives. Okay, and this is even applies to my singles out there, because maybe you notice that, hey, you keep meeting the same kinds of people, you keep running into the same kinds of situations. What's really going on? And you're going to find the answers to it and be able to like put that situation to bed and not have to keep facing it over and over again after the next 3 months. Okay, let's get you some messages for your health and wellness next. Whoa. Okay, we have manifestation. And it says here, be very honest and clear about what you wish to manifest in your life. Now write it down on a paper. Manifestation, step 1. Ooh, this feels like that baby steps card, you know, where like this says like manifestation step 1. So when it comes to your health and wellness, like maybe you want to manifest a better routine for yourself. Maybe like you want to have a more consistent sleep routine, more consistent and peaceful morning routine. Maybe you want to like get your steps in, or get like to drink water consistently, things like that. Whatever it is that you want to manifest with your health and wellness, what's coming through is to just start with the basics and also start small. So it's probably a lot to go from like maybe not exercising to exercising every single day. So try something that's a bit more manageable, maybe just once every 2 weeks, if that is what you can realistically do in a consistent manner, right? We want to also be consistent about it, because then it builds confidence in us that we won't betray our own commitments to ourselves. So if you realistically can only show up at the gym once every 2 weeks, then start there, and the frequency will increase as you build up the muscles. Okay, underneath the deck we have pure intention. The fairy of manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely, manifest your heart's desire with pure intention and for the highest good of all. So when it comes to health and wellness, you're definitely being supported by your guides, by the fairies, by your angels, to be able to manifest positive outcomes and maybe even keep some commitments to yourself. Especially, for instance, I'm also hearing like if you've been wanting to go for like a digital detox, if you've been on your phone a lot and it's not been very healthy, especially when it comes to work, this manifestation energy is also helping you to like manifest boundaries, for instance, manifest healthy outcomes and routines in your life, and have an overall state that is more conducive to your health and wellness. Okay, now let's finally get some affirmation cards to close off this reading. And we have here, it is safe for me to explore unknown worlds and try new things. Beautiful. And underneath the deck, I dare to dream of wonderful things happening in my life. Nice. All right, so pile number 2, this is what I see for your reading. Thank you very much for being here. I hope that this reading brought you the clarity that you are seeking, and I look forward to reading for you in future as well. Bye now. Hello pile 3, and welcome to your reading about your next 3 months. So we're going to start off with tarot cards, and then we're going to take a look at oracle cards to look into a bunch of different aspects of your life in the next 3 months. So these tarot cards first will reveal the major themes of your next 3 months. Okay, so we have first of all the 5 of Cups, we have the Two of Wands in reverse, the King of Cups in reverse, Elder of Cups in reverse, and also the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Pile 3, you're definitely going on some kind of journey in the next 3 months, as being told by your cards here. And I want to say that it's quite a restorative journey that you're going to be on. And it's gonna, at the very least, bring you back to a state where you're not in a constant scarcity mode, survival mode, or in a state of lack. All right. Starting out with the Five of Pentacles here, you might start off the next 3 months, whenever you're watching this reading, feeling a little bit lost, overwhelmed, or just feeling like, you know, like some kind of huge thing just happened in your life and you just need a breather. Obviously, with that huge thing happening, it also comes with a lot of very intense emotions and feelings of resentfulness, bitterness, anger, frustration, and that all comes with that Five of Cups, because you're looking at all of the things that you had lost through that experience, and that's just taking up so much focus and time. Now, usually with the Five of Cups, it depicts someone who is looking at the looking at 3 cups that have toppled over, and they're not noticing the 2 remaining cups that they have, right? So this is also, again, a reminder that there are still things in your life that are working and working well. But the message that I'm getting with this 5 cups here is more so that there are some really challenging and painful emotions that you cannot ignore. And you cannot just say like, oh, you know what, just because I have 2 cups standing, it doesn't matter what these 3 cups are doing. It's fine that they're lost. It's not so straightforward. You know, it's, yes, I have 2 cups, but holy shit, these 3 things really piss me off. You know, like they don't cancel each other out. And your guides are just bringing in a very gentle reminder that, of course, your entire life is not in shambles, but you're also being called to, like, yeah, you need to just lie down for a moment and deal with the shit that just happened in your life, because it was major. Okay, now the Two of Wands next, in the next 3 months. Two of Wands in reverse is not being too quick to make plans, not being too quick to start to try to just move on, because it's not easy to move on. And actually, Two of Wands and the King of Cups here, it's you having to just spend a bit more time to work through that trauma, work through those emotions, work through that challenging season of your life, and just process and integrate stuff. I know some of you, especially with the Two of Wands, you want to just like close the chapter and move on already, but healing needs its time and place, right? We need to give it that moment to process and integrate stuff. And it's not a process that necessarily can be rushed or can be just quickly swept under, you know, like you have to just give it its airtime. But importantly, it's also not going to take an incredibly amount of time. Like if you think that you're going to be healing for the next 10 years, just trying to process this trauma, like some traumas, yeah, it's like lifelong lessons. We may never stop unpacking certain things that we've gone through in life. But then there's something about this situation also, which is like, hey, it needs some time, but probably not to overstay its welcome. All right, so get through the lessons, process the trauma, and also then we also need to put in the work to actually move on, to not sink so deep into the processing and the healing and not be and forget that moving on is equally important as healing and processing stuff. All right, so what happens at the end of the 3 months is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. You go from a state of destitute to a state of, I can rebuild from this. I know I've lost stuff, but I don't feel incapacitated by it, and I know that I can rebuild my life. And there's a sense of like quiet confidence with this Five of Pentacles. It's you not having the same kind of like sadness or bitterness or resentfulness at the end of the 3 months. You just feeling like, yeah, what's done is done. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to rebuild my life. I'm ready to start afresh. And you move from a place of more, I want to say like, you're just more whole, right? Like you're not so wounded by the situation that you dealt with. So let's get you some oracle cards again. I wanted to look at some general themes of the next 3 months. We have Fire Dragon, co-create with the universe, and Earth Pig, surrender to the moment. So yeah, I mean, Earth Pig here could not be more apt for whatever we have experienced in your reading here. This is definitely a time to surrender. And if you ever feel like, you know, you need to do everything by yourself and you need to like clean up all this mess by yourself, the universe is sending you a huge reminder that they are with you. And when you call in for support, support will come in miraculous ways. So I'm even hearing that like if you put your intention out there that you need help, you might be surprised at the kind of helpful energies and situations and people that come in to support you out of this crisis, right? There might be some unexpected helpful people that come in that just want to give you a hand, lend you some time, maybe lend you some of their help in the form of some work done or some guidance that they can share with you. There are so many different ways and miraculous ways that spirit can bring in help, and they want you to be open to that in navigating this challenge that you might be going through. Okay, let's get you a bit more about other themes that you might encounter in the next 3 months. All right, we have We the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. Another pile also got this, so if that was also a pile that you chose, this is confirmation of that. But the vibe that I'm getting from the We the Hathors card in this pile here is a little bit different. There's more so of a gentleness, of like a mother's caress and a mother's gentleness coming through, in a way that like spirit is just coming through with a very easy, loving, tender, and compassionate energy to help you to tide things through. So there might be some goddesses that you're working with who are really just being so loving towards you, so generous with their time and their energy and their help, and offering you so much love and support, right, to shift you out of this state of destitute. There may also be very helpful female figures coming into your life who just really see you and what you're going through, and they recognize the challenge, maybe because they also went through something similar in the past, and they are here to help you through it. All right, we have underneath the deck star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, and activation. So challenges also bring out certain qualities in us that can activate parts of us that we never knew were there. It might bring out that quality of courage, of strength, of inner resilience that was always in you but needed to be activated, right, through something like a challenge. And this is just Spirit's reminder not to discount the strength that you have displayed throughout this process, right? Because you might take it for granted because it's just coming from you, but they want you to know that like not everybody can display this kind of strength, and you have been doing so well to show up for yourself, to show up for your people, show up for your family if it's a family related thing, and just be that pillar for the people around you. Like that is so amazing work that you have done. All right, now let's get a look at your career situation in the next 3 months. Let's look at what themes are showing up. All right, we have Uriel, red, and it says here emotions, healing, devotion, and integrated, as well as peace, connected, journey, balanced, and clearing are the keywords. Underneath the deck, we have renewed connections, reunion, reconciliation, intimacy, and forgiveness. So when it comes to career, I think things overall feel like they're returning to a state of peacefulness. And I'm also just sensing like some things were very stuck in your career before, and there's more movement coming in right now. And with that movement and that harmony comes peace. Because it's like you can finally breathe now that things are working well, and or they at least seem to be going in the right direction, you know. And it's not so worrying, it's not so challenging, actually that movement coming into your career that brings about peace and healing. Movement in the sense of maybe more clients, more inquiries, you get more recognition at work, you get, more, your boss maybe starts the conversation going about promotion, like they're more willing to give you what you want. And just even that kind of movement is enough to make you feel like, yeah, my efforts were not for naught, it wasn't for nothing. Things are progressing in a positive direction with my career. Renewed connections also when it comes to career. There might be some people that come back into your life. Maybe maybe it's an ex-colleague that comes back with some information for you or some offers for you. Maybe there are some ex-clients who just come around to ask for your services again. So this could be something to look forward to when it comes to career in the next 3 months. Let's take a look at your love life in the next 3 months as well. We have, sexual freedom. Juicy, juicy. Okay, so that's that. And underneath that, we have the divine feminine, and I gotta cover her up. So, and I won't show this card any further. YouTube stuff, But when it comes to your relationships, the first thing I'm hearing with the divine feminine and sexual freedom is many of you being more expressive about your needs, being more open about discussing what you need to feel loved, to feel good in a relationship, what you need from your partner, right? And it's not crazy to ask for your needs. It's not crazy to say that, hey, could we try this activity, or could we go to this place, could we travel together, could we do something fun this weekend? It's not so crazy anymore to ask for your needs. And in fact, you might just be surprised at how much your partner wants to meet your needs as well. And in speaking up, it also creates that freedom, right? And freedom is already like beautiful. And then sexual freedom, like something about sexual energy is very primal, right? It's very free flowing. Like in it of itself, it has a lot of qualities of freedom. Like we encounter our more natural, primal, and free state in our sexuality, right? So sexual freedom coming together, it just makes me feel like you guys just really unlock a different type of acceptance and openness in your relationships, because you're not so scared of rejection. You're not so scared of people not wanting to hear you out. And if they don't, it's like not your problem, it's their problem that they're not listening to you. So you just set yourself free from expectations, from performative, ways of being, from needing to live up to some imaginary societal expectation about who you should be in a relationship, and just falling more in love with your partner just because, okay? And for my singles, actually, I also feel like you guys are more open also about what you want in relationships, and not being so even like ashamed of saying that I really want X, Y, and Z things in my relationships. I really want to have a loving, connected, kind, freeing kind of relationship. And almost just like verbalizing these things without shame is in and of itself very freeing and very healing for many of you. And you being more specific about looking out for these qualities in the people around you and in the dates that you go on is also kind of like a very healing process, because you're being very unapologetic about what you think you deserve in a relationship, and nobody can tell you otherwise, because this is what you think, right? Like, who are they to say that you don't deserve it, So you're just being more bold, I would say, when it comes to what you want to claim in your relationships. Let's get a bit more about your overall health and wellness for the next 3 months. Healing is the card. Yeah, you guys are so in need of healing with the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles here. When it says here, now is the time for you to give or receive healing. Everyone has a natural ability to heal others. Yes, even you. Okay, so interestingly, some of you might be healers or interested in some kind of healing work, either to receive it or to give it. I would not be surprised if many of you are psychics, mediums, tarot readers, maybe spiritual workers, and you just feel inspired to expand your business or expand your work and to reach more people in the next 3 months, okay? Underneath that, we have stargazing. When you gaze at the stars, you give yourself very focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. Okay, so I feel like we got another star card, right? Yeah, star bathing and stargazing. So I feel like this is also connected to astrology. So if you guys are like into astrology, like take a look at your chart for the next 3 months, see what kind of transits are happening, what kind of major shifts are taking place in the next 3 months. It could really inform you about what to focus on, what to take note of, what you can expect as well in the next 3 months. And another card, and I mean another message from that card is just to relax, just breathe. Just look at the stars and maybe think of nothing and just let your intuition speak to you without expectation. Like it might speak to you, it might not. It's okay. Just give yourself space to do nothing. I think that's what's needed in the next 3 months, okay? Now let's get you some final affirmations just to close up this reading. And we have here, I make a positive difference in the world even with my smile and words. And underneath the deck we have, when I don't know what is happening, I choose to be curious and excited about what is going to be. Beautiful. All right, so pile number 3, this is what I see for your reading. Thank you very much for being here. I hope this brought you the clarity that you were seeking, and I look forward to reading for you in future as well. Bye now.